Good morning, Year 5s and 6s. Just to go back and explain the tenths that we were looking at, I thought I'd go back using some concrete materials. So on the board, I have drawn up a place value chart. Okay, so this is what you were working with last week in your booklet. But I wanted to go back and have a look at our hundreds, tens, and ones and explain to you where tenths come from. Okay, so ones, we all know the little MAB ones. And I'm going to stick him up there. MAB 1. Okay? There is 1. And he goes there. Okay. So, if we are then looking at our tens house, these are our tens blocks. Stick him in the tens house. And using a different colour, we write our 1 here in the tens house, but there is 10. So we go 1, 0, and that says 10. Okay? Again, if we go over, we have our hundreds block. There are 100 in here. 100, okay? So I'll stick it up here under our hundreds house. Then using a different colour, we have 100. Okay? So 1, 10, 100. Now, if we were to have a look at tenths, what you need to imagine is this 1 being chopped up into 10 pieces. Okay? So this tiny little 1 being chopped up into 10 pieces. So just to help, I have blown up, let's just imagine, I've blown up this tiny little cube into a purple one, okay? So that is still going to be our 1 whole. So I'm just going to stick that, I'll stick that over the top, actually no, I'll rub it up. So I'm going to stick that over here. In our ones, this is going to be the same thing, okay? It's just a bigger form. So to get tenths, that means I need to get 10 times smaller. I have done this one, which you have seen in your booklet this week, okay? So it is cut up into 10. To get 10 times smaller, it becomes a tenth. Okay, so now this is a tenth on this side. So a tenth. If I was to add more, so again from here, if I was to chop another one, that would be 2 tenths. Okay, so let's have a look at that now. Okay, so 0.2, and that's 2 tenths. Okay, if we were to then go even smaller into our hundredths, again, from our ones to our tenths to our hundredths. Okay, so this hundredths is cut into 100. If I want 1, I need to take 1 square from here. 1. Now it is 100 times smaller from here. Okay, so we've gone 10 times smaller. I'll take that one off. 10 times smaller to 10 times smaller again. And now that is 100th. Okay, so recapping on what we just learnt, purple square being our 1. Okay, so this is our 1 whole. 1. Now, something we might not know about numbers is they are always followed by a decimal. We just don't need to write it. Okay, so if we were to imagine our 1 is followed by the decimal, there are 0 tenths there, 0 hundredths there, and so on and so on. Okay, So we just write that as 1 because 0, we don't need to write it, okay? But if we were to put our tenth up, so looking down in this grid now, we have our 1/10. He is there, okay? Now, I'll just move it up. 1/10. So there is nothing in this one here. There is no holes, okay? So we write 0. Decimal. And there is 1/10. So we write that as 1. All right. Moving down again. We have our hundredth. And he goes over here in his house. 1. Okay. So looking at this row here, there are 0 whole blocks in our row here, 0/10ths, and don't forget our decimal, so 0, decimal, 0, and there is 1 there, so we put 1 there, okay? So we would write 0.1 for 1/10, and we say that as 1/10. For our hundredths, we have 0.01, and we say that as 1/100th, okay? So hopefully that helps clear up anything that you're confused about. We are going 10 times smaller every house, or if we're going the other way, it's 10 times bigger. Make sure you email through any questions if you need any help. We're always happy to help. Hope you have a wonderful week. See ya.